Welcome to the Selling from the Heart podcast on the From the Heart Business Network. You've joined a global movement of sales professionals who are dedicated to being authentic and building trust. We call it Selling from the Heart. Together, we're on a mission to bring sincerity and substance to the sales profession we all love. Get ready to be inspired and equipped as we join our hosts, Larry Levine and Darrell Amy.
If you love the Selling from the Heart podcast, then you know how much we value authentic leadership and building relationships with heart. But here's the thing. Great leadership doesn't stop with sales. It starts at the top with CEOs who inspire trust, create meaningful cultures, and lead with purpose.
That's why we're excited to invite you to get involved with the Culture from the Heart podcast. On Culture from the Heart, we celebrate CEOs who are transforming their companies by putting people first. And we're asking you to help us find them.
Do you work for an incredible leader? Know a CEO who builds culture from the heart? Nominate them to be interviewed on the show. Together, let's spotlight the leaders who make businesses thrive by leading authentically.
So head over to cultureFromTheHeart.com to submit your nomination today. Because when leadership starts with the heart, culture and success follow. Welcome back to the Selling from the Heart podcast. Your co-host, Darrell Amy, here today with Larry Levine. What's going on, Larry?
All kinds of things. I'm feeling a little punchy today, so who knows where this is going to go, but we're going to have a great time on the podcast today.
Morgan J. Ingram is in the house. You're going to love this conversation. We got so many great things going on as we're moving through the summer. We're committed to staying focused and staying fired up all throughout this summer. And today is going to be a fantastic. You're absolutely going to love this conversation. Every week, we give a shout out to one of our friends in the Selling from the Heart community. And this week is no different. Larry, who are we going to give a shout out to today?
Okay, so you just kind of teed this up and you didn't even know about it. So Darrell just said, we want to keep you fired up during the summertime. So I want to give a special shout out to a near and dear friend of mine. I kind of have a bromance with this guy, but we do a lot of work in food service. This guy's got the coolest freaking name, Pepe Toro. Yes. And it's just, Pepe, I love you. You know why, but Contigo is muy bueno. That's all I'm going to say because I know he watches.
I love it. I love it. Hats off to you, Pepe. And hats off to everybody in the Selling from the Heart community. We absolutely love this global movement of sales professionals that are dedicated to being genuine, being authentic, building trust. All of that we call selling from the heart. Well, today's guest, you're going to love him. He is a force of nature in the world of modern sales. He's not just shaping the future of go-to-market talent, he's living it. We've got Morgan J. Ingram in the house. He's the VP and go-to-market talent and development at AMP Creative, a keynote speaker, a content creator, and the magnetic voice behind the SDR Chronicles. Morgan isn't here to pitch tactics. He's here to ignite transformation. With every video, every stage, every coaching moment, and there are so many of them, Morgan helps sales professionals shift their mindset, tell powerful stories, and most of all, show up as their true, trusted selves. And he's here with us today. Morgan, welcome back to Selling from the Heart. It's great to have you here.
What's hey, all kinds of things. I've been looking forward to this one for quite some time, Morgan.
Yeah, I'm glad we made it happen. We're here.
Yeah, we're going to have some fun. And as we get started, you get a second stab at answering the question that every guest on the Selling from the Heart podcast answers. And that is, Morgan, what does Selling from the Heart mean to you?
So I knew this was going to happen. I was like,
it's very predictable.
How has it changed since I answered it? So the way that I actually would answer this one, selling from the heart, comes from immersing yourself in the craft of what you do and finding alignment in the, let's say, passion or excitement of what you sell. So I think it's actually an immersion of two things. Because if you're really immersed inside the craft of sales, then your heart is in it because you love the craft of sales. But then also you need to have immersion in what you are selling to that person as well. And that allows you to immerse into that as well, because then you're going to learn more about the industry. So if you're immersed in your craft and sales, you're immersed in the industry and you love it, then I think that's selling from the heart because you're going to have empathy from both lenses. So that's how I would answer that question.
Oh, I like it. And I haven't heard the word used before, immersion. So let's just play on this for a moment. Walk us through, because there's going to be some people in there go, come on, Morgan, what are you talking about? Immersion. Help us understand that. Where are you going with that? I know where you're going, but there's the people out there going to go, help me understand this immersion word.
So I've been doing a lot of study of like people that are great at what they do, right? So like I'm a huge Kobe Bryant fan. It's the reason why the AMP logo of the company I founded is gold and purple. That's the reason why it's the case. And you could look at all these different people, right? Phelps, like Tyson, you can take it to the highest degree. When you really look at why people are good at what they do and when their heart is truly in it, is they're getting so deep in the craft that they feel pulled to it to learn. And when you're pulled to learn something, you're going to take the time to go skill up. You're going to take the time to do your due diligence. You truly do care about it. I think about it as like, you probably had moms cooking before, or like a chef will be like, it was made from like the chef's heart or things of that nature. Like that's how I think about it, is that like the immersion in your craft, you have so much love for it that other people feel your passion and love for it, that they feel like I have to work with this person. So when I don't say just like, hey, just dabble in the craft. I'm saying immerse yourself, because when you're immersed, other people can feel that. And that's why I use that word.
I love that. I love it. Both the craft of selling and what you sell as well, both being so important. We're living in a very interesting time right now for those of us who believe in authenticity and it being at the core of sales success. With all the technology out there, it's a very, very fast changing and interesting world. And when we think about the technology and we align that with authenticity, there's a lot of challenges, and there's a lot of new things to think through and a lot of conversations to have around that. And I'm looking forward to that conversation today, Morgan. And I'm just curious, as we think about all the AI tools that are out there in particular, kind of the new thing in all of this, and we think about how do we maintain an authentic voice in the middle of all of it. I'm curious. I know you've got a lot of thoughts on this. So how do you want to kick this one off?
Yeah, well, I'm going to ask you all, have you all been dabbling with AI like ChatGPT, Claude, Gemini? Like, have you all been in it?
Absolutely.
Oh, of course. Yeah,
100%. Yep.
Okay. So probably everyone listening has dabbled with it as well. When I look to answer this question, are we looking at this from like, how does the seller stay relevant when AI is looming in? Or even for like maybe a founder that's listening in, like, how do I create content amongst the noise? Like, what lens are we looking at it here? Because I have multiple different answers on this.
Yeah. Well, I want to think about it through the lens of a sales professional, and especially through the filter of, at Selling from the Heart. Obviously, everyone here in this room believes that trust is paramount, that authenticity is a big part of that. And, and then now we're living in a world where we've got all of this technology. So how, from your perspective, should we be thinking about this as sales professionals who want to be passionate about our craft, want to be passionate about what we do, and want to have an authentic voice in the middle of all of it?
Yeah. So there's three buckets in how I think about this. But before I go into the three buckets, people, if you want to do this exercise, I might terrify some people, but I have to tell you a couple of things I've done that are interesting. So AI, I built a custom GPT for myself. It's like 680 pages of like my calls, et cetera. I know people may not have this much, but just bear with me on this example. So I asked AI, based on everything you know about me, could you replace me?
Silence.
I asked it. I was like, it said no. It wouldn't be able to based on what I do.
Interesting.
But I asked why. The main reason it was because it said your ability to tell stories and connect with people.
Oh.
So if you think about it, can AI truly tell a story? No, because it could, but not really, because it's not going to connect with you because it's not their story. AI is just an aggregate of just information. It doesn't have an original story. So there's no way it could really connect with you because it's not a real story. It's something that they got from someone else. So I'm saying all this is because the first thing that I'll say out of three is every seller needs to figure out, what is the story I'm telling to my buyers? How well do I know the buyer's story? How well do I know the customer story? The better that you know this and have real practical examples on what you've done, people will be able to sense that and connect with it, and they're going to want to work with you. So I think that's like the first thing every seller should do is like, what are my stories? And people, when they hear from me, they're going to connect. And when you think about, obviously, selling from the heart, right, a lot of that comes from empathy, but also a lot of that comes from telling stories that emotionally pull people in, right? So that's number one. Number two is a little bit more straightforward, is research. So I think active selling time for reps is like 32%. I mentioned this on like a webinar. I think it was it was earlier this week. And I talked about how most of your reps are probably spending a lot of time just doing research, or a rep listening in. You probably spend a lot of time doing research. Let's say you did 2 hours of research every day for like net new business in your calls. Well, that's 10 hours of your week. Imagine if you had a system, a workflow with AI that could fix that. So now you have 10 hours back to sell, prospect, whatever you want to do. So I think another thing that you want to do is not ignore AI, but leverage AI as an ally and a teammate on how you can be successful. And three, I would say, is allowing it, as you have these calls and as you have these things going on, to have a better analyzation of what you need to do moving forward. So I'm saying all this is in like, if you do the three things that I mentioned to you, you won't be out of a job. I don't think that AI will completely eradicate the sales profession based on what I know, but it will take some people out if you're lazy and you don't take certain steps to skill up during this time. That will happen because this is just another revolution, just as the industrial revolution, right? As such as the technology revolution, like these things happen and people do lose jobs because the AI, whatever it is, takes that job based on the person, on their skill set. You do have to level up, but I don't think it's going to eradicate everyone if you do at least those three things.
Oh, this is so good. Here's a first word. I don't know why this has popped into my head, Morgan, but it did. I'm sitting here listening. I'm going, okay, this is through the lens of a salesperson. I don't know why, but it's FOMO. It's like this fear of missing out. So it's like there's so much noise out here that if I'm a seller, I don't care if I'm a full cycle salesperson, SDR, BDR, AE, doesn't really matter. How do I decipher all of this stuff to make sense of what's really happening? What's not happening? How do I leverage this? How do I not leverage this? Walk us through that, because I know this is going on because the hot topic is AI. Everybody's talking about it. So it's like, get on the bandwagon, and there's some full cycle salespeople out there going, what is AI?
So to convince them, like, what is AI? Or just
Come on, Larry.
Dude, I'm serious, right? I mean, let's just face it. There's not everybody out there that understands all this stuff, and some quite frankly don't even know what it is.
What I would say is, it's unfortunate that AI is just thrown into conversations because I've listened. You probably have listened to this as well. You listen to content or panels, and people are like, "Well, AI is fascinating," and then people just talk about how fascinating it is for an hour, and then no one tells you what to do. So then it's like, well, we're so fascinated, we didn't tell you. It makes no sense to me. I'm like, I've learned literally nothing. I've just learned that AI is cool, and like I don't know what to do. I'm further more confused, right? So I like to call this AI in action. And when you think about AI in action, I think I went on IBM's podcast is AI action as well, and I went on there. And my whole premise when I was speaking on that podcast was, if you have no idea what AI is and you just figured it out what it was the other day and you're terrified, I would just use ChatGPT because that's the easiest one to start with because it started first. And I would voice note into AI and just say everything that you struggle with professionally. If you don't want to go personally, just say professionally, as a professional, this is everything I'm struggling with right now. And then I would ask AI, what are the things that I've mentioned here that you could help with? And pick the one that you feel the easiest to do, and then pick that one thing and then just do that. And then over time, you realize it could pretty much do everything. Like, y'all, I'm probably borderline psychotic at this point because I have it for travel. Like literally yesterday, I was like, all right, my flight got delayed. I'm landing at midnight. What should I do before the flight? And it's like, go here, do this, da-da-da. I'm great today. And I got home at like 1 a.m. last night. But like, I'm good because I followed what it said. Or like, even like a video game playing. I'm like, I don't really know how to get better at this video game. What do I do? It told me I'm better at the video game. AI is insane. I don't like trying to figure things out if it already has the information. Just tell me what go do it. So slowly over time, you'll realize it can do a lot.
Yeah.
But the thing is, just with anything, you have to believe in it first. So that's why I say the biggest struggle that most people have is their job, because job takes up 67% of their life, especially if you're a seller. It's just stressful. So just ask it, hey, what should I do? What people miss sometimes is AI literally is every single input that's being put in by billions of people is in this system. So it's going to be able to quickly calculate, hey, here's what you should do based on literally millions of other billions of people that put this in here. And then now it's up to you to take the action. But if I was someone who's like, well, let's say I don't know what to do. Well, find a use case that is really stressing you out and just do that one thing it tells you.
Yeah, I think that's a really cool idea. And you know, I've always thought how cool it would be to be a sales professional or an executive in the 1960s when you walked into the office and everyone was smoking and you had an assistant. Like that was a totally different world, right? We back in the day, everybody had an assistant. And then all of a sudden we got computers and I just it became, by the time we all got to the sales world, like, you don't need an assistant. You've got a computer and a CRM and all of that. But I think what's so cool about, you know, hey, ChatGPT, here's where I struggle. What are some things that you could help with? I see, for me personally, AI is an incredible assistant in terms of streamlining things and like, if you could take that mindset of saying, oh my goodness, I've got a free assistant, you know, instead of thousands and thousands of dollars a month, I've got a free assistant that can help me take steps that I've struggled with. To me, that is a really, really powerful thing for sales productivity right now.
100%. And just, again, it's going to be able to filter. The ironic part is, this is the ironic part about AI. When we talk about noise, it's typically like on LinkedIn content or just sales. There's more outbound messages being sent. There's more content being sent out. And people are like, oh, it's AI's fault. To a degree, it's really just people who were already bad and just multiplying their bad efforts. So inherently isn't like AI is just the kind of like the inhibitor of this, but it's just everyone just putting in bad inputs and multiplying bad outputs, which creates more noise and more confusion. But the thing is that AI can actually filter through the noise based if you have a very concrete example, because AI is only a mirror of you. So whatever outputs you're getting, if you're like outputs are bad, it's because you're not doing the right thing, to be honest with you. But if you're doing the right things and putting the right inputs, AI is just a mirror of what you're already doing. So you actually can be way more successful with AI if you have the right inputs in there. So I want to add that as a caveat.
Mm-hmm.
Hey, here's what's interesting about this. I'd be curious your thoughts on this, Morgan. And I dissect things like you do as well, but especially on LinkedIn. I'm just going to go to LinkedIn and the platform for just a moment as a means of communication, because AI pops up in it all the time.
Yeah.
Is when you're communicating and engaging in your posts and all of that, and you start following people that you really like and you're used to the words they use and the messaging that they use, and then all of a sudden those words start changing and the context behind what they're saying starts to change. The first red flag that comes up is, A, what happened to your voice? And B, is this really you behind it? Or have you just gotten a little bit lazy with your communication and now you're letting AI speak for you? And I think that's the biggest fear. Is I'm starting to see that people's level of communication and the words they use is starting to change, which means, hey, was that your authentic self before? Is this your authentic self? Who are you? You get what I'm saying?
I do. I think I think a part of that is we live in the microwave society instead of the fine dining society. So I mentioned this I think it was on a webinar a couple of weeks ago. You have a decision now to make on LinkedIn. You either can be fast food, Golden Corral, In-N-Out, McDonald's, great, you can do that. Or you can be like, we're going to be Michelin 5-star. That is like the decision you now have, because it's like fast food is like, I can use AI, I can put in my templates, I can put in my prompts, it's going to do its thing. It's not even I'm not even going to like QC to add my stuff in there. And then you have Michelin 5-star, which is like, I'm going to make sure this is a quality post that really connects with people. And Larry, when you say that, I believe that's what you're saying. That's at least what I've seen. It's now created that experience. And there's levels of where, you can incorporate AI to help with your posts, and you can build your voice in it, and you can do it actually pretty successfully. But I think over time, some people will do it and they'll be like, people don't notice. But what I've realized that people do. And so now it's like, it's just being mindful of that, because the people that notice sometimes won't even tell you that they notice, because they won't comment, and they won't even tell you. They'll just dip out. They were a silent lurker, like, I'm no longer lurking. So I think this has become imperative that if you are putting yourself out there, that you're really QCing and be like, is this me? And how can I, again, ally myself with AI to make it feel like it's me? AI can give you the foundation, but it's not going to give you like the cookie cutter, like a genie in the bottle. Like, I just don't expect it to do that.
It's interesting. You were saying earlier, when you asked AI, what can't you replace? And stories came up, which I think is incredibly powerful. I was watching Eric Schmidt talk yesterday to the TED guys, and he was saying, AI stays in its lane of whatever topic, but it can't bridge topics together. And that's kind of what stories do. They take real world examples, topics, analogies. I think it's great. But the other thing that I think we might add to the soup here on this is, and this goes back to the content and what we're creating, is I think we've got to have a point of view as a person in whatever industry you're in, or whatever type of clients you serve. You've got to have, I believe, a point of view, how you see things, your framework, your opinion, your angle on this. Because what happens, I think, when you don't have a point of view and you start leveraging AI for anything, all of a sudden you just get a bunch of mush. And I think that's where people tune out. I'm curious your thoughts on this in terms of, hey, can we all, in addition to maybe making a list of stories, could we actually bullet out, like, what's our point of view about the craft of selling, and what's our point of view about what we sell and who we sell to, so we actually understand what our authentic voice is?
Yeah. Great question. So I feel like most of the stuff that you see that you may be like, I don't really like, I don't know what's going on, is going back to what I said earlier. You treat AI or anything like genie in the bottle. So it's like, I'm trying to automate sales, my sales process. I haven't manually gotten any responses, but I think AI has the answers, which, by the way, if you ask it to make a good, I don't know if you've ever done this. If you ask it to create an excellent sales email, it's terrible. It's like, hope all is well. Like, it's
right. Yes. Didn't mean to interrupt you. Yes.
Yeah. Like, apologies for my, like, I remember one day it was like, apologies for this long note. And it ended up being like 5 paragraphs. Like, this is why we always will be fine. In terms of what we do. Right. And so the thing is like that it thinks that's excellent.
Right.
It doesn't know. So that's what a lot of people they're doing is they're like with content. They're like, oh, write me an excellent post. Well, it doesn't know what actually that means.
Yeah.
It's the aggregate of a lot of average posts, not the top ones. And so why am I saying all that? When you think about a point of view, like your chat's not going to give you a point of view.
Right.
It's not going to have one. So what I recommend people to do, whether it's content or in sales, I have this myself. I have an Apple Notes, like there's a section, and it's literally called just like Morgan's Raw Takes or like Soul Takes. And it's not super fleshed out. If you read it, you would think that like it's like I'm from the Aztecs. Like it's like It's really bad. Like, it's like, there's no spelling, there is no grammar, but it's just my thoughts throughout the day. It's my thoughts that I think about in the week. It's me on the plane being like, hey, like I have this thought, because we lose really good point of view and raw thoughts. And I've been more diligent on this in the past 5 months. And I can say the best pieces of content and the best conversations I've had is because I put it inside of that notes, because it is uniquely from my stream of conscious, which no one else will actually be able to articulate that point, because it's coming from my stream of conscious that like I'm the only person that can have that thought in my own lens. Now people can see it from their lens, but from my lens and consciousness, it's solely coming from me. There isn't anyone else that you're going to get it from. So I think more people need to do that. And here's the thing. Here's another. I've asked AI a lot of creepy things. So here's another creepy thing. I asked it, what is the number one thing that humans should be doing, but society takes them away from, that you know is best? And the answer was journaling and self-reflection.
Oh boy. Yeah.
Because most people never connect with those things, because you're running to a meeting, you're on social media, you're responding to someone, you have all these notifications, you're getting blown up in Slack. Like if you have a family, you have kids, you're running around doing that, right? And so by the time you have 2 seconds, it's just in the shower. That's why everyone has the best ideas in the shower. But then like you can't be in the shower for 9 hours, right? So you got to get out of the shower. And so that's the reason why I said that. It was very, very interesting.
Oh, this is good stuff. And I'm sitting there going, the voice notes thing, powerful, because I always carry around like a little notebook. There's a notebook on my desk. There's a notebook in my car, things like that. So when I'm out somewhere, I can just jot a couple notes down. If I smelling what you're throwing down here is I could take all that to voice notes and then run that in some kind of GPT stuff and start formulating my own thoughts.
That's what I do. I use
so good
AI to synthesize, because
the
thing is that like people are like, oh, like do you use AI to write your posts? Like, yeah, to a degree, because I'm synthesizing what I already said. Like it's coming from the most raw aspect of me. Like I'm literally voice noting something with the stream of consciousness. I'm not thinking about editing our LinkedIn post when I'm talking about this. This is just me. And now AI can synthesize that to be like, okay, how do we make sure that someone could read what you just said? Right? Can we translate that message? And then you go from there. But that is the way that I create most of my content, how I create my point of view, how I prepare myself as a seller. Because if you have your raw thoughts out there, now you can speak into it more consistently.
Brilliant. I love it. I love it. Morgan, always a fun conversation with you here on Selling from the Heart. I know our guests and listeners are thinking, how can I get more Morgan J. Ingram in my life?
Yeah. So check me out on LinkedIn, Morgan J. Ingram. If you are interested in any social selling and you want to check out what we're doing there, and creative, and I'll make sure to get y'all a free playbook that we have out right now. So if you just want to get into the game and get better, you can also have that too. It talks about content as well.
Awesome.
Oh, this is great, Morgan. Conversation.
Yeah. Thanks for hanging out, man. This has been fantastic.
Yeah. Appreciate y'all.
Very cool. Very cool. Hey, what a great conversation. I love that idea at the end about keeping just a stream of consciousness journal of notes, thoughts. As sometimes people are intimidated by writing things down. I mean, just pick up your phone and dictate it in and create that master note. Because I think whether it's stories or whether it's a point of view, like what's your opinion, your point of view on all of this? These are the things that are crucial to maintaining an authentic voice and connecting with people in this world. And I think the people that do it right have an incredible advantage over the people that are being lazy and it's giving their voice over to AI.
Yeah, this is just dancing through my head. It's like an aggregation of thought. Because a lot of times I just write something down on a sheet of paper and a sticky note, and then weeks go by and I look at it and I go, I can't remember why I even wrote that down anyway. Exactly. But at least this will start aggregating my thinking as I'm thinking about certain things and putting in there. I'm just going to lean on to you, Darrell. I'm just going to give you all my stuff and you can figure it out.
I don't want to pretend to ever be able to imitate the voice of Larry Levine. There's too much crazy behind that. Hey, everybody, thank you so much for listening in today. And also thanks for joining the conversation by sharing this on social, following Selling from the Heart. You may have noticed the Selling from the Heart LinkedIn page has a brand new weekly sales digest. You want to follow that. Make sure to stay in tune with all the great things that are going on, and make sure that you can stay connected to some of these great points of view that are coming out, just like this show and conversation we've had today with Morgan Ingram. As we've been saying all summer, we are committed to keeping you fired up throughout the summer. Larry, want to keep them focused, fired up, and on point. And this is going to be, summer's already going great. And we've got some amazing guests coming up.
Hey, by the way, I'm disappointed in you, Darrell.
Yeah?
You didn't use the third F. I'm not right. You said fired up, focused, and then you went on to some other word. You're an alliteration guy. You got to think of the last one. But
you know what? In my voice journal later on, my stream of thought, I'm sure I'll come up with something. But for now, we'll just have to leave it there. Till next time, keep being genuine, keep being authentic, keep building trust, find your authentic voice, and most of all,
sell from the heart.